Imagine a city where a person's life is defined by a sprint. Thousands of people tear through rain-soaked streets, their bodies straining under the weight of mirrors, televisions, and the constant ticking of the clocks they carry. Respect in this society is tied directly to velocity. The runners who cover the most ground receive the loudest cheers, even though not a single one of them knows where they are headed. The city is an engine of distraction. Neon lights and massive screens flood the senses with a relentless glow, ensuring no one has the luxury of a quiet moment to look around. To fit in, citizens wear porcelain masks frozen in wide, jagged smiles. They project an image of success to the crowd, while their own internal lives slowly wither from the sheer effort of the chase. When a person lives for the eyes of the crowd, stopping becomes a threat. They stay in motion to stay ahead of the questions that only surface in the silence. Then there is Elias. He uniquely disrupts the frantic flow of the city by moving at a slow, measured walk, forcing the runners to swerve around his stationary presence. While others carry the heavy trophies and screens of the modern age, Elias carries a single plain wooden chair strapped to his back. This choice invites immediate hostility. Strangers mock his pace, and children throw paper at him, unable to understand why a man would carry a seat when everyone's focused on the race. Elias claims his time by the inch. By choosing his own rhythm, he asserts a level of control over his existence that the runners surrendered long ago. The philosopher Albert Camus spoke of the absurd hero, an individual who sees the inherent chaos of the world and decides to live within it with a sense of quiet, stubborn dignity. The evidence of the city's madness is everywhere. Thousands of people spend their entire lives running in concentric circles around a monolithic clock tower, trapped in a routine that leads back to the start. Wealth has become a physical burden. Men in suits drown in a stormy sea of paper money, sinking beneath the weight of the very currency they are trying to save. The city demands a performance. Citizens hide behind grins that crack under the rain, while those who can no longer maintain the act are left to scream inside soundproof glass boxes, unnoticed by the crowd. Elias avoids this collective decay because he refuses to believe in the destination the city has promised him. He has traded the comfort of the crowd for the clarity of the outsider. This clarity comes with a price. Elias endures the weight of the chair and the insults of the runners, because seeing the world as a hollow loop is the only way to avoid being consumed by it. Elias eventually reaches the edge of the concrete. He leaves the lights behind and begins the slow, steady climb up a grassy hill overlooking the city. As the urban roar fades, the atmosphere shifts. The sheer noise of the sprint usually acts as a barrier, preventing people from ever hearing the sound of their own thoughts. He unstraps the chair and sets it firmly in the soil. He sits down to face the sunrise, turning his back on the glowing neon smog and the millions of people still trapped within it. In this terrifyingly quiet space, Elias builds his own sense of purpose. He creates meaning from the silence, standing apart from a system that offered him none. Down on the periphery of the city, a few runners falter. They stop to look up at the hill, confused by the sight of a man who is completely stationary. The sight of Elias sitting still creates a fiction in their minds. His posture alone acts as a silent invitation to stop, breaking the spell of the sprint. The rhythm of the race begins to fail. One by one, exhausted strangers drop their heavy clocks and trophies. They walk toward the hill and simply sit on the grass. Their perspective changes instantly. Instead of watching the heels of the person in front of them, they look up to observe the clouds and the light of the morning sky. This act of stillness is a form of rebellion that spreads. It proves that the entire race only continues as long as everyone agrees to keep running. The principle of internal liberation found in James Allen's work teaches that true freedom is found when a person's thoughts no longer belong to the world around them. Even as the chaotic rings of the city orbit and collapse, the inner core remains untouched. The city remains a frantic, decaying loop of motion, but on the hill, a small group sits in a golden light, no longer governed by the panic of the crowd. In a civilization that demands constant movement, sitting still is the most revolutionary act a human being can perform. The only empire that truly matters is the one that exists within your own mind.